Hello, I'm Jacqueline McInnes Wood, and welcome back to my official channel.
Hi everyone, I'm Jacqueline McInnes Wood and welcome back to my official channel. Let's get right into the madness. So I am sitting here at my desk and it is way too late. My coffee is completely cold. My eyes are burning from staring at this screen for hours. But The Bold and the Beautiful, spoilers for the next 2 weeks just dropped March 23 to April 3. And I am telling you right now, I could not go to sleep without getting all of this out to you, because my mind is spinning, just spinning. The drama is so thick, you could cut it with a knife. And I have to write this all down before I lose my train of thought, because there is so much happening, so many secrets, so many lies, and so much explosive conflict coming our way. I am just going to dump all this information right here, raw and unfiltered, because we need to talk about it. Let's start with Melissa Dillon, because I feel like she is the absolute center of the storm right now. And she does not even fully realize how bad the storm is. So during the week of March 23 to 27, we are going to see Ivy Forrester go into full manipulation mode. Ivy is a master at this. We all know it. And she is going to try to convince Dylan to keep her mouth shut. Remember, Dylan overheard Ivy and Daphne Rose talking. She peeked into the design room and heard them going back and forth. Now, here is the thing. Dylan does not know all the exact details. She does not know the full extent of how Ivy manipulated Will Spencer and Electra Forrester. She does not know about the stolen letter or the broken necklace placed on the desk, but she heard enough. She heard enough of Ivy and Daphne's tense conversation to realize that Ivy is up to no good. She knows Ivy played a massive role in keeping Will and Electra apart, and that is a huge burden to carry. But Ivy is not going to just let Dylan ruin her plans. No way. Ivy's going to corner her, and Ivy is smart. She knows exactly what buttons to push. So Ivy is going to point out the obvious reality to Dylan. She is going to look her right in the eye and say, listen, if you mention anything about my manipulation to Electra, or if you go running to Will with this half-baked truth, what do you think is going to happen? The former lovebirds could reunite. And where does that leave you? Out in the cold, back to square one, alone. That is a heavy threat. Because Dylan is terrified of losing everything she just gained. She was washing dishes not that long ago. She was struggling to survive. And now she has this shiny new job at Forrester Creations, thanks to Steffi. And more importantly, she has Will. And that is the real kicker here. Dylan is growing closer to Will. She is well on her way to being his official girlfriend. So she has this impossible choice. Does she do the right thing and blow the whistle on Ivy knowing it? Will probably send Will running right back into Electra's arms. Or does she stay silent? Does she swallow her guilt and keep her mouth shut so she can keep the guy? It looks like Dylan is going to choose the selfish route. She is going to choose to stay silent because the fear of losing Will is just too great. But that guilt is going to eat at her. You know, it will. Because every time she looks at Will, she is going to know that their relationship is basically built on a foundation of Ivy's lies. And that is a ticking time bomb. But for now, Dylan is zipping her lips. She wants Will, and she is willing to play dirty by omission to keep him. And while Dylan is keeping quiet, Ivy is going to be over the moon about her other little project. Because Ivy's master plan is actually working. She wants Electra away from Will, and she wants her with RJ Forrester. And RJ is playing right into her hands. RJ is going to invite Electra to have a private dinner with him, and not just anywhere. At the Forrester mansion, which is huge. That is a major move. It is intimate. It is private. It is romantic. And Electra is going to accept because she is hurting. She thinks Will has completely moved on with Dylan. She thinks Will does not care about her anymore because of the missing letter and the broken necklace. She is so vulnerable right now. And RJ's right there, being sweet, being charming, being the supportive friend who clearly wants to be more than a friend. So they have this private dinner at the mansion. And then things get even more interesting because Electra's going to go for a swim with RJ, a moonlight swim, just the two of them in the pool at the Forrester estate. And you know how those scenes go. The lighting is perfect. The water is warm. The physical closeness is undeniable. And they are going to take some selfies together, having fun, laughing, looking like a couple. And what do people do with selfies? They post them on social media. This is where the disaster really starts to unfold, because Electra and RJ are going to post these pictures, and it will not be long until Will spots their posts online. Just picture Will sitting alone somewhere, scrolling through his phone, and suddenly, boom, there is Electra, his Electra, looking stunning and wet and happy right next to RJ Forrester. At the Forrester mansion pool, the jealousy is going to hit Will like a freight train. The anger, the heartbreak, because in Will's mind, Electra's the one who gave up on them. He does not know about Ivy's sabotage. So when he sees those photos, he is going to take it as the final nail in the coffin. He is going to assume Electra has fully moved on and is giving her heart to RJ. And that is going to push Will right over the edge. So what does Will do? He reacts. He is hurt and he wants to move forward. So seeing those photos is going to give Will the green light to give things a real try with Dylan. He is going to stop holding back. He is going to look at Dylan and decide she is the one he should be with, because she is there, she is available, and she is not swimming with RJ Forrester. So the spoilers are telling us that a passionate encounter could be on the way soon for Will and Dylan. They are going to cross that line. They are going to get physical. And once they do that, it is going to be so much harder to go back. Dylan is going to get exactly what she wants. She is going to get Will in her bed. But she is going to have to live with the secret that she basically stole him by keeping Ivy's lies hidden. The guilt is going to be massive, but the passion might just override it for a while. But Will and Dylan are not the only ones dealing with some serious passion. Oh no. We have to talk about Deacon Sharp and Taylor Hayes, because this situation is completely out of control. Steffi has warned Taylor. She has told her mother to stay away from Deacon. She has threatened to cut her out of the family, but Taylor is not listening, and Deacon is not listening. They are addicted to each other right now, and they are going to gear up for a massive, passionate encounter of their own. And where is this happening? At the Cliff House, Steffi's property, which is just insane if you think about it. They are literally playing with fire in the Dragon's Lair. Taylor and Deacon will not be able to fight their desires anymore. They have been sneaking around and fighting it, but the tension is too much, so they are going to prepare to hit the sheets. They are going to strip down. They are going to get ready for this huge romantic moment. And as luck would have it, because this is a soap opera and timing is always the absolute worst, that is exactly when Sheila Sharp will arrive at the front door of the Cliff House. Sheila, Deacon's wife, the woman who is crazy enough to do anything, she is going to walk right up to that door, and she is not empty-handed. She is going to have a bouquet of flowers as a gift. Why flowers? Because Sheila, in her twisted mind, wants to thank Taylor. She wants to thank the doc for all her help putting Sheila's marriage back together. It is so ironic, it actually hurts. Sheila thinks Taylor is her savior. Meanwhile, Taylor is inside about to sleep with Sheila's husband. So Sheila is standing there at the door with these flowers. And this is where things could go in a few different crazy directions. If the writers lean into the typical soap trope of forgetting to lock the door, which happens all the time. People in Los Angeles never lock their doors on this show. Then Sheila might just turn the knob. She might barge right in. And she could walk right into the bedroom and find Deacon in Taylor's bed. Can you even imagine the explosion if that happened? Sheila would lose her mind. She would probably try to kill Taylor again. But there is another possibility here. There is the potential for some serious confusion, because maybe Taylor hears the knock, maybe she panics, and she simply hides Deacon. She shoves him under the bed or pushes him into the bathroom or the closet. And then she throws on a robe and answers the door alone. So Sheila is standing there, and she is looking at Taylor, and Taylor is clearly flustered. She is out of breath. She is wearing a robe in the middle of the day, and Sheila's not stupid, usually. She might put it together that Taylor has a man in the house. She might sense the energy, but she might not realize it is Deacon. Think about it. Who else would Taylor be hiding? Sheila might jump to the wildest conclusion. She might suspect that Ridge Forrester is there. She might think Ridge is cheating on Brooke Logan Forrester with his ex-wife, Taylor, which would be a hilarious and chaotic misunderstanding. Sheila might leave thinking she has this massive dirt on Ridge and Taylor, and she might try to use it. Whatever the case is, some major drama is about to go down at the Cliff House. And the stakes are so high because if Steffi Forrester Finnegan finds out about any of this, if she finds out Taylor and Deacon were letting passion erupt at her house on her property, Steffi just might lose it completely. She might literally kick her mom off the property right then and there. And she would absolutely enforce that family ban she has been threatening her with. Taylor would lose her daughter and her grandchildren all over a hookup with Deacon Sharp. It is a disaster waiting to happen. And I cannot wait to watch it. And speaking of bedrooms and secrets, let's pivot over to Daphne Rose and Carter Walton, because they are dealing with their own heavy stuff right now. They are going to carve out some time for romance in the bedroom. They are trying to make a baby. They want to start a family. So they are trying to keep things light and romantic and focused on each other. And that will bring some really close moments between them. Some beautiful husband and wife moments. But Carter is a smart guy. He is perceptive. He knows his wife. And he is going to eventually get the feeling that Daphne is bottling something up. Because Daphne is a nervous wreck. She is carrying the weight of Ivy's secret. She knows that Ivy stole Elektra's letter and ruined Will and Elektra's relationship. And it is eating her alive. She is trying to be romantic with Carter, but her mind is spinning with guilt. And Carter is going to sense that distance. He is going to look at her and know that something is wrong. And he is going to push her gently but firmly. He is going to ask her what is going on in that head of hers. And Daphne might eventually break. The pressure is just too much. She might eventually confess to Carter about Ivy manipulating Will and Elektra. If she tells Carter, everything changes. Because Carter is a man of principle. He believes in doing the right thing. He is a lawyer. He values truth. So if he hears that Ivy is running this massive scam on these young kids, he is not going to like it. He might insist that Will and Elektra deserve the truth. He might tell Daphne that they cannot just sit back and watch Ivy destroy lives. And that is going to put Daphne in a terrible position because she is terrified of Ivy. She is terrified of crossing the Forresters. But if Carter insists, she might have to finally step up and blow this whole thing wide open, which would ruin Ivy's plan. And it would ruin Dylan's new romance with Will. Everything is connected and it is all about to shatter. And if you thought the family and romantic drama was bad, just wait until we get to the corporate side of things. Because the week of March 30 to April 3 is going to bring absolute war. It should bring more hostility between Brooke Logan Forrester and Katie Logan Spencer. The sisters are at each other's throats and it is getting ugly, real ugly. We are talking about some dirty moves. We are talking about fierce power plays. This feud is heating up and neither side is backing down. Brooke is furious that Katie is using Eric's designs. And Katie is furious that Brooke and Ridge tried to publicly sabotage her launch. But here's the thing. Bill Spencer is in Katie's corner. And when Bill Spencer wants something, he usually gets it. Bill is going to be completely adamant about moving forward with the full collection. Because despite the drama from Brooke and Ridge, despite the crashing of the press conference, the mini collection was actually a success. The clothes look good. The press was interested. So Bill is looking at the numbers and he is seeing dollar signs. And he is seeing a way to stick it to the Forresters. which is his favorite thing to do. So Bill's going to push forward. He is going to tell Katie to ignore her sister, to ignore Ridge, and to focus on the work, despite all the Forrester friction, all the threats, all the screaming matches. Bill will not let it stand in the way. He is determined to make the Logan brand a key player in the fashion industry. He wants to build an empire for Katie, and he does not care who he has to crush to do it. Brooke is going to try everything to stop him. She is going to play dirty. But Bill is a shark, and he is ready to bite back. This corporate war is going to tear the Logan family apart even more than it already is. And honestly, I do not see how Brooke and Katie ever recover from this. They are burning bridges that took years to build, and then we loop right back to Dylan, because her story is the thread running through all of this. Back with Dylan, she may deal with some serious crushing guilt as she grows closer to Will. The closer they get, the more he opens up to her, the worse she is going to feel, because she knows the truth. Dylan's knowledge of Ivy's breakup plot could leave her completely torn. She is going to have moments where she almost blurts it out, where she almost tells Will that Elektra did not abandon him, that Ivy stole the letter, that Ivy set the whole thing up. But every time she gets close to telling the truth, she is going to look at Will. She is going to feel his arms around her, and she is going to realize what she would lose. So she may have to stick with the secret. She is going to have to force herself to lie every single day if she wants to keep Will away from Elektra. It is a toxic way to start a relationship, but Dylan is acting out of desperation. She wants love, she wants security, and she has convinced herself that this is the only way to get it. But secrets on soap operas never stay buried forever. We all know that eventually the truth is going to come out. And when Will finds out that Dylan knew the whole time and let him suffer, he is going to hate her. But until that day comes, Dylan is going to ride this wave and hope she does not drown. I mean, just look at all these moving parts. We have Ivy pulling strings like a puppet master. We have Dylan compromising her morals for a guy. We have Elektra falling for a rebound because she has been manipulated. We have Will jumping into bed with Dylan out of misplaced jealousy over some Instagram selfies. We have Taylor and Deacon risking absolutely everything for a hookup while Sheila is literally standing on the porch holding flowers. We have Daphne crumbling under the weight of a secret while her husband tries to make a baby with her. And we have Bill and Katie going to war with Brooke and Ridge over a fashion line. It is breathless. I